I know that in many places in the world, if you left your religion, what would happen?
Guess what? Let me tell you something.
It would be
many
okay. You
people
could
in
walk
Tunisia,
inside. You could walk inside a door in Gaza and say, "You know what? I'm a Presbyterian today."
maybe not in Gaza, to be honest, but you can do it in Jordan, you can do it in Lebanon. The majority of you are blaming the majority for the criminal acts of a minority. Unfortunately, the majority are disorganized, and there's a small minority that are well organized, and they're controlling the narrative.
I have to move on.
You've probably seen before or experienced yourself when somebody tries to warn of the widespread dangers of extremist fundamentalist Islam and then told that they are ignorant and they don't know enough about the religion. This kind of gaslighting of, no, nothing is going on, you just have to educate yourself a little bit more. We'll take a look at this clip of Bill Maher when he is having none of it when confronting this situation. Take a look.
And same student feel offended that your views of Islam, the generalization, and they said it clearly in their declaration, they said the generalization perpetuate bigotry. This is what they said. Look, I am all for freedom of speech. I love debates. I hate monologues. When you invite somebody to a commencement speech, you said it, it's about the students. And the New York Times in this piece this morning said, you can counter a bad speech with a good speech, except they don't have that venue. They don't have that opportunity that day of graduation. They can't opt out of that. And I'm telling you one
about
thing.
that subject,
I
as
understand.
I just said.
But does that mean we never have speeches? Every speech has to be two people?
But this is a commencement speech. This is a commencement address of these students who are actually... Listen, would you accept an openly anti-Semitic person to give a commencement speech to a Jewish student? I actually would not accept that.
As I just said, even Reza Aslan says I'm not a bigot, so I rather resent the idea that I'm comparable to an anti-Semite. All I've ever done was basically read facts.
What facts did you read? Well, never invited.
Listen,
you are comparing... I am sorry,
Bill, I don't think we want to read...
You are comparing jihadist, Salafist, Sunni. You don't know the difference. You're comparing all Muslims in one pot.
You're a Palestinian.
And I am actually a secular Muslim. And when you talk about Islam in a certain way, I have to tell you, and it's offensive sometimes, some people feel
But it's okay to be offensive. That's what free speech is all about. If free speech is only speech you like, it's not free speech.
They invited him for a debate. He can go to a debate. I will accompany you in that debate if you want. I'm happy to have that debate wherever you want.
He was invited to be a commencement speaker, and then he made a statement that people didn't like.
I don't know what to say. I can understand.
Can you be gay in Gaza?
Yes, you can.
Really?
Yes, you can.
And live?
Absolutely, you can. You know what? It's even more offensive because you're saying...
I'm just asking because I've heard
you can be gays in Gaza.
Really?
I traveled the Middle East.
Is there a gay bar in Gaza?
This is what I do for a living. You are comparing the majority of Muslim states with Saudi Arabia or with
Should I call Affleck and get him back here so we can...
You don't have to. You know, this is... Do you want to listen or you want...
Muslim. I think it's about whether someone can be invited to give a speech and people will listen. Maybe they'll agree with it, maybe they won't. But we don't have a situation in Berkeley where people can't give a speech. I mean, that's the whole essence of the American system is people can give a speech. Not everybody has to agree with everything everybody says.
The Muslim community in this country, you are treating them like a fifth columnist, and they are not. And guess what?
I'm not.
And then guess what? If these people are, the Muslim community feel threatened and feel offended, and they are underrepresented in the media and underrepresented in political avenues. You never invite them here on these issues.
Never invite them here. You're here. Reza here is here. They're here all the time.
Issues.
What do you mean on these issues?
I mean,
I'm the one who says I want to stop talking about this. I can't because things happen in the news.
Reza was invited to talk about something else. It was August 1st.
Well, Reza's been here a lot.
And I'm happy that he's been here, and I've been here, and I'm so happy to be invited here. However, if you want to have a serious conversation about Islam, and I'm sorry to tell you this, Bill.
Every time I say something you don't like, it's not a serious conversation, or I'm a bigot. I'm sorry. In your world, either I'd say exactly what you want me to say, or else I'm a bigot. And that just doesn't work for me.
You don't have to say what I want, because what I want is not a war on Islam. I want to win the war on terror. We are repeating the same things that actual Al-Qaeda is saying. The same thing. You are actually doing the work for them. Zawahiri used to say, and Bin Laden used to say, This is not a war on terror. This is a war on Islam. My father was Muslim. He was Sufi. You don't even know the difference between Sufi, Sunni, Shafi'i,
Yeah, I
Shi'i,
do.
Hanbali. You don't.
Well,
for you, we are all jihadists.
I know that
and
in
it's
many
not true.
places in the world, if you left your religion, what would happen?
Guess what? Let me tell you something.
It would be
Many
okay. You
people
could
in
walk
Tunisia,
inside. You could walk inside a door in
Many
Gaza
peop-
and say, "You know what? I'm a Presbyterian today."
maybe not in Gaza, to be honest, but you can do it in Jordan, you can do it in Lebanon. The majority of, you are blaming the majority for the criminal acts of a minority. Unfortunately, the majority are disorganized, and there's a small minority that are well organized, and they're controlling the narrative.
I have to move on.
I'm happy that you move on, but I'm telling you, there's some people that lose. If you would have said some of the things that you would have said about African Americans and about Jews, you would be fired.
But African Americans and Jews don't belong to a religion that wanted to kill Salman Rushdie for writing a book, if we want to get back to the free speech issue. So I'm sorry, that's called false equivalency.
Okay.
Not
When
all
Salman,
religions are allowed. I have to move on. I'm so sorry.
That woman, her name is Rula Jabril. She's some type of Palestinian activist, and she keeps trying to gaslight Bill Maher, saying, oh, you don't know enough about it, and it's just this disorganized majority. And what if you talked about this about another group? And as he correctly stated, but the other groups are not doing these things. They don't murder cartoonists in Paris, the Charlie Hebdo guys, because they drew the wrong cartoons. They don't put a fatwa, a death threat on an author for writing a book that disrespects the Prophet of Islam. That is the thing. And it's, I want to fight the war on terror, not against Islam. Yeah, me too, right? Like, I don't want to fight a war on a religion. I'm just pointing out, and Bill Maher is pointing out, that a lot of that terror is coming out of the religion in a pretty direct line. And a lot of people are following some of those problematic teachings. To say that the fundamentalism of Islam is on the same level as the fundamentalism of Christianity and of Judaism is not the situation that we're currently in. And there are a lot of theological potential explanations for that. And I've shown that in other videos, like Prophet Muhammad being a warlord and the Quran being a book that talks a lot about how he conquers other tribes and converts them. But I'm not enough of a theologian to say that there's this definitive theological in the scripture thing in Islam that is making it forever and ever a threat to Western societies. I'm not saying that because I think I need to know like the limits of my own knowledge. I don't know enough to make such a declaration. I can notice though that you have this endless groups of jihadist fundamentalists Muslims in the Middle East, from Al-Qaeda to ISIS to Jabhat al-Nusra and the Muslim Brotherhood affiliates, who are constantly using violence against other groups to try to convert them and to try to dominate them. And then when they're in the Western countries, if you insult the Prophet, then they threaten you, then they want to kill you, that they want to impose their beliefs on other religions and not just have them as a way of life inside their community. I'm noticing all these things. And of course, here in Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas, groups who want to destroy our country and say, kill Jews. So I noticed all those things. Bill Maher notices all those things. Some of the other people on the panel notice all these things. But Rula Jabril doesn't. You're being a bigot. You don't know enough. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I have the Quran here on my bookshelf. I'm going to read it again and see maybe if I missed something. I'll educate myself a little bit more and I'll come back to you guys, okay? Thanks for watching and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.